how should marketers prioritize these factors when communicating with the family audience? And those factors being price and convenience.
Sure. So I think, when I think of AAA and then just marketing in general, we try to look at it in a lifetime value proposition. So if we're going to come at it with a discount or something to kind of get somebody onboarded to our product, get them familiar, we know, especially at AAA, we have a nice legacy where people will stay for a long time. They engage with all the different other products and services. So we're happy to kind of meet them where they are, especially in economic times like right now.
Proposition, and I think this is really the time for brands to think critically about what your value proposition is and lean into that in your marketing strategy. For us at Mod, our value proposition is any toppings, one price, and that's something that we're definitely honing in on because it's such an important factor.
As a consumer and as a marketer outside of AAA, I think it's all the things that you said, and it's that feeling of belonging. Like I'm valued by this company. Here's how they're showing it. For one, living in the Northeast, Evan, you probably appreciate this too. Like I love the Dunkin' Donuts loyalty app, right? And they're always sending me rewards that I can either convert into things I want, or then there's special offers in there. And I think, all the companies that are into those types of transactions, McDonald's, you get a bunch of deals if you order through their loyalty app. So I think it's that belonging and a little bit of exclusivity. I think it starts with offering great service, right? Because you become a raving fan or somebody that's a promoter because you had a great experience. And here on the internal side, they're always sharing stories with us of the technicians that have gone above and beyond. Like they saw not necessarily just a typical road service call, but somebody that was in trouble and they needed something else, and they needed medical attention, or they needed, there was a story, someone saved someone from fire. They saw smoke while they're on their way to a roadside call. But doing things like that, going above and beyond. And we traditionally at AAA, we don't have customers, we have members, right? And we all belong together. We're a community of members. So as long as we treat each other like family, or maybe friends, depending how we treat our family, but you treat someone very well and do the very best you can with their best intentions in mind, I think that's how you create kind of a raving fan.
Especially when you're thinking about families, what are the activities and the things that are important to families? And that's where something like our work that we've done with TeamSnap comes into play, because we're trying to get involved in something that's really important to families, which is youth sports. So that, service and the products that we've used with you guys have been great. Another thing we do is our fundraising program at Mod. So folks can set up a fundraiser for their PTAs, their sports teams, their nonprofits that are local. And that gives you the ability to give back to that direct community, and the opportunity for people who are hosting those events to invite the people that are the most important to them to come experience what we have at Mod.
I love that.
Tia, just to add on to that, because I think that's so well put. Being involved in the community adds that authenticity, and I think that's one of the things we're very appreciative with TeamSnap. We're very excited to be sponsoring teams this coming fall. Is you can say you're involved in the community and you're trying to give back, but then if you're not actually following that up and finding ways to do it, then you're not being authentic. And I enjoy working with your brand in that space particularly. There's certainly the travel aspect, the insurance aspect, but all of that kind of bubbles up into, we want to be somebody that is existing for our members and is always trying to deliver an exceptional experience and really be that trusted advisor. So that absolutely plays into where you want to make your ad placements, right? There's certain sites that wouldn't make sense, certain channels, certain audiences. And I think for us, a lot of it is just testing and learning. So when we're looking to go out with something, and we have really good data analytics. We use plug for, Adobe Analytics here, but we're able to kind of get into the nitty gritty and really figure out what audiences and where things are popping and where we may be running into problems. So we consistently A/B test, see what does or doesn't work. Nothing is ever really rolled out in a high risk until we're comfortable with it. 100% what's always kind of going on at all times, and being responsive and having that transparency to show people you're being responsive.
That makes a lot of sense. Tia?
Yeah, I concur with everything that Amy's brought up, but I would also add, thinking our little small but mighty social team is also looking a lot about like what content is really picking up engagement, especially on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, like what is resonating, so that we can kind of pivot that content to be getting in front of more eyes and really engaging with the folks that are consuming it. Obviously, we're looking at feedback not just from our social channels, but the feedback that we receive if somebody has a customer complaint and they're writing in, or if we have surveys that we're doing. It's taking all of those things into consideration so that when we're thinking about launching campaigns or we're doing postmortems on campaigns, we're considering those pieces of feedback. You really can't post all of the exact same content across all of those channels. What works on TikTok is not going to work on LinkedIn, and what works on LinkedIn might not work the best on Instagram. So our team definitely thinks about that when they're generating content, of where is this content best placed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you wholeheartedly. There's places you can push, and then there's places you want to be a bit more conservative. I think sometimes the thematic line of what you're trying to do can go across platforms, may just need to be executed a little bit differently. One that I kind of kept coming back to with families was Crayola. So I think they've done an incredible job of making everything feel like everyone belongs. They've done initial crayon packets, color packets, right, where I've seen where they've done, inclusive of every skin and nationality type of thing. I think they're innovative as someone with young kids to find things that completely don't ruin the inside of your house. Everything's non-toxic. They just do such a good job, I think, of understanding that segment, what that segment means, and then making sure every single child, regardless of like who you are, what you look like, what your background is inclusive. And I love that journey that they're taking. I don't know, I think it's called Colors of the World, that line that they've launched, which I think is just an amazing step, and as someone privileged to kind of have grown up with everyone that looks mostly like me, it wasn't something I really considered. And when I saw that, I'm like, wow, that's just, it's such a simple and great thing to do to make every single child feel included.